Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Path of Exile. Now, not a video I thought I would be doing, but not full disclosure, I suppose, where it's due. This game has been gifted to me by a very good friend of the channel and a personal friend of mine called Commandlicious, or at least that's what he used to go by on YouTube before he retired. We used to do a couple of videos together. We were into Paradox, grand strategies, etc., etc. It was a while ago, but yeah, he gifted me the game, had extra keys, and I thought, you know, it would be just a way of, well, returning the love, I suppose, by you know, sharing the first impressions with you guys, the rest of the community, and yeah, it's the least I can do is make a video on it if I did get the game for free, right? At least that's my line of thinking. And so I come into this from a perspective of someone that has played a couple of Diablo-esque games in the past. My main one for a while was Torchlight 2, and then I did play the original Diablo. No, actually, I didn't play the original. I played Diablo 2 back in, like, the ancient era, as far as most of the, well, at least the average YouTube demographic is concerned. And then on top of that, I played a couple of Diablo-esque games like, what was that one? Grim Dawn, right? Yeah, I even did a couple of videos on that on the channel, so the genre in and of itself is by no means new to me. However, I'm not a player that likes to go after the latest, fanciest thing and do this competitively and try and get the, you know, world's first defeated ex-boss or whatever. No, it's just not really my thing, I'm afraid. However, I do like these games from a single-player perspective. I like the gameplay loop, the stories, the cool abilities, building up your character, and of course, the loot. Oh god, the loot. Treated more like a Borderlands game than anything else. And from that perspective of, you know, someone that's not really into all the competitive aspects and looking for the greatest gem and the best drop rate of whatever resource you need for whatever, I come into this video and into this community and into this game. And the first thing that really struck out to me when it comes to Path of Exile 2 are the visuals. Absolutely. I mean, the intro cinematic is pretty... well, I'm not going to spoil it for you, but it's a hell of a character selection screen, is all I'm going to say, right? It's definitely didn't expect it. It's very interesting, and from there, the game, just with its atmosphere and its visuals, really sort of sticks out to you, I would say. And, well, here we are, about, I want to say maybe 2 hours in, and I'm really enjoying it. You can notice all the little details. I mean, the textures of the ground look absolutely gorgeous. The trees, the water down there, it's all absolutely gorgeous. But then it goes, there you go. Details like that. The little birds, the gore animations, the enemy death animations, their attack animations. It's so smooth. It's so fluid. It's all absolutely gorgeous. It really, really is. And yeah, I'm just a huge fan. What can I say? So, anyways, here we are in the game, and I want to show you, in case you know, let's say for the couple of you that have never seen this in Path of Exile or aren't really familiar with the game, this is the skill tree. It's become something of a staple for Path of Exile, hasn't it? Because most games develop a skill bamboo tree where you have like one or two side paths that you can go down. Some games develop a proper skill tree with, you know, various branching paths so you can specialize your character or, you know, tune him to your liking. And then there's PoE, which has the skill galaxy. It literally is. It's a skill galaxy, isn't it? I mean, look at it. Oh, God. But, yeah. More on that later, I suppose. For now, I want to talk a little bit more about the core gameplay loop. So, here is your inventory screen. identify scrolls to identify the items you haven't picked up. This is what you have equipped. Pretty self-explanatory and obvious if you ever played Diablo or anything close to it. What makes this game a little bit different is its healing system. The flasks that you have are physical items that you need to find and equip, and you can only fill one flask at a time. Well, two technically, one health and one mana, right? So you don't have multiple potions that you carry around with you. It's the one flask and you sip from it. Kind of like the Estus in Souls-like games, right? So, if I were to drink, for example, a little bit of health right now, I would deplete the flask slightly, but at the same time it would get refilled from visiting wells, checkpoints I believe also refill it, etc, etc. Anyways, no room to pick this up, so we create a portal to the town, which for us is as much of a town as more of an encampment. This is the hub area for Act 1. And here we go, we refill our stuff, and we're off. Couple of things I noticed with this system. The inventory space is really lacking. So, we sell all of this stuff, because I'm pretty sure I have better things on me. And then we go off to the Red Veil again to pick up the extra stuff. Now, I will, for the life of me, forever defend Path of Exile's system. Sorry, not Path of Exile's. I will, for the life of me, forever defend Torchlight 2's system with a courier. You had a pet, and you can put stuff in the pet's bag, and you can send the pet back to town to sell all the stuff for you. Honestly, I will forever defend that system as the greatest one ever when it comes to action RPGs like this. But regardless, as you can see, effects from the attacks and everything are also absolutely gorgeous. There is also a dodge button, like so, which, again, kind of seems to lean a little bit on the Dark Souls side of things. And the more I think about it, it does take, I wouldn't necessarily say inspiration, but it does take some cues from Dark Souls in the best times, the best spots, I would say. At any rate, there's the grenade. A little bit more crossbow SMG action, which is effectively what it is, right? And off we go. Couple of other things I noticed early on as part of the first impressions, shall we say. Most of the scrolls that you find, books, pages, etc. are voiced, and you are able to listen to them as you go. So really interacting with the world and the storytelling and the environmental stuff that you find is really, really neat, because it doesn't get in the way of the gameplay. Too often in games like these, when you want to read something, you have to stop by the, side of the road or whatever, or just, stop at the wherever you found the page and just sit there for about 2 minutes to read it. I respect people that like that. At the same time, having the option to just listen to it in the background while I'm continuing my, grinding or making my way to the next quest marker or whatever is a very, very sorely needed option, I think, in a lot of games, and this one has it. Apart from that, like I said, the flow of gameplay, movement, abilities, everything feels very, very smooth, very fluid. I absolutely love it. Alright, now, what about the meta, the end game, etc, etc? The truth of the matter is I have no idea. I just started playing, not that kind of video, but first impressions wise, and based off of the previous information that I had, there is a metric ton of content here, and this is coming off of me just following the game on various pieces of media and then watching a couple of reviews and stuff like that in my own time, but even from the get-go, the game bombards you with stuff to do. This is still technically kind of a tutorial area, so there is a lot to unlock, but one of my favorite parts about all of this, like I said, is the fact that the game is complicated enough to keep your brain engaged, right? It's not a mindless, point-and-click game. especially in a situation like this, where I have aggroed a few too many enemies, I would say. I need to be careful about how I'm going to deal with this, but as you can see, you need to dodge, you need to think about what you're doing, and also ideally at certain times think about what sort of attacks you're using, because we can, for example, switch to single shot, which will do a lot more damage, but obviously we'll have a lower rate of fire. And we also have the shotgun attacks, but those I haven't really found that much use for. And you can go into the details to make sure you know exactly which attack is best against which enemy type, etc, etc. I believe the rapid fire thing is mainly used against enemies with a lot of armor, because you can break the armor with it. The shotgun, I think, is used against enemies vulnerable to ice for some reason. Even though that doesn't look like the shotgun attacks are particularly anti-cold or whatever, but yeah, it works, I guess. And on top of that, obviously, the inexplicably massive skill tree is there for your enjoyment too. Now, although I gotta say, that skill tree is not just there for visuals, right? It's not there to make it look like you have a billion options, where in reality you have a couple. They are very, very significant. I'm only level 5, and the skills that I pick up on that tree determine whether I have 50% more damage or 50% more protection, more or less. Right? In fact, as soon as I clear this out, I will show you. Nah, well, I need to get back to the portal. I need to create a portal rather to go back to the encampment to sell all of this stuff. Anyway, which is really the one thing that's kind of annoying me, but I get the feeling I'm doing something wrong. I'm selling all of these things. Granted, I maybe should discover some of them before selling them to increase their value. Or to wear them personally. That's also the other option I haven't really considered. But I get the feeling I should maybe not be selling all of these things. And maybe I shouldn't really bother. I don't know. Anyways, I'll look that up later, I suppose, but I want to just really quickly show you. Passive skill tree, right? Take a look. 10% increased projectile damage, 8, and then another 10. That's 36, I want to say, extra projectiles, and then attack speed also adds to your DPS. I didn't have to go this way. I could have gone this way with armor, more attributes, more armor, more evasion, and that's here. That's this little dilemma of left or right. As you can see, there's a lot of that. There's a lot of choosing between one or the other, or mixing a little bit of both. It's not like you have to go down this road now. I can pick this up. Yeah, so when the game tells you that it really wants you to build your own character and not really rely on one sort of meta build for whatever, that you can pick and choose as you like, oh yeah, you can definitely pick and choose. And in fact, it's one of those things that I'm sort of almost conflicted with, because on the one hand, I really want to experience the game as, well, maybe not as it's intended. Maybe that's too harsh a statement for it, because there is a little bit of intention behind these builds, and you want some of them to be more meta than the others, etc, etc, but I want to experience the game on my own and build my own character, and yes, maybe make some mistakes and build him wrong in a certain sense. But at the same time, this is the type of game that requires a lot of attention from you and a lot of hours, because there's just a lot of, a metric ton of content. You will be grinding through the same area to pick up certain gems or certain upgrades or certain pieces of gear, etc, etc. I mean, this character is on hardcore, meaning if he dies, that's it. Now, the game's... How do I put this? The game's nice enough to let you respawn as a standard character once you lose it, but I want to keep him in the hardcore league. And... yeah, it's not easy, let's just say. And so, really, at the same time, you don't want to build him up like any other character, because it takes a long time, and there is the whole hardcore option for me, but even aside from that, you're going to be spending ages with this character, and you're going to be, you know, spending a lot of time in this game, because the raw amount of content, you want to make sure you're building it correctly, and you have a good build and whatnot. So, it's, I wouldn't really call it at odds, but yeah, it is, in some sense, it is a little bit at odds with itself in that sense. Or I suppose it's mostly down to the player experience and what he wants, but for me personally, there's a bit of a conflict there in a certain sense. At any rate, aside from that, no stupid microtransactions. What do you mean, Juggernaut? There's a whole store. Yeah, there is, and it's available to you at the press of a button, as you can see, but it's all cosmetic. Look at it. Look at it. It's all cosmetic. I mean...
The Expedition Stash tab can hold all the Expedition items, such as logbooks. The Breach Stash tab can hold all your Breach splinters, stones, sacks, and catalysts. There's also a tab for holding all your womb gifts, with each type of womb gift getting 6
That's a little
pages of
bit
storage.
unfortunate, shall we say, that those stash things are on sale, but...
The Flask Stash tab can hold up to 500 flask items.
And that as well, but, you know, what can you do? Also, I'm not quite sure if there is a way to earn these points outside of the microtransactions or not. It would be absolutely sick if there is. Not for the cosmetics themselves. You can keep those as a payable thing to transmog certain items and stuff like that. Or all of your items basically and stuff like that. But at least for the functional stuff like the stashes and whatnot for the people that are really into the game. Although I suspect it's perhaps not as important as it may seem at this point in time. However, like I said, the whole selling of items thing is annoying me a little bit, so I will have to look into whether that's just me doing it wrong or whether it's just part of the gameplay loop. But even if it is, you do eventually need to fill up these stashes of... these flasks, not stashes of mana and health. Occasionally going back, even, you know, if the game quote-unquote forces you to by making you clutter your inventory with a bunch of stuff you don't need, is not the worst way of getting you to do that. To be fair, and there is a sort of kind of sense of reward for getting all the stuff. At any rate, as far as action points are concerned, those are unlocked via gems. So... you take a look at the skills panel. You need gems for this. Now, there are 2 types of gems. Active skills like this, and support skills, which are your passives. And you can have exactly this many active, and you can, I mean, these are your basic ones that come from the weapon, right? So this one you can't unequip because it's part of the weapon. It's the main shot for it. But you can just take a skill off if you don't like it, which... is pretty cool, I would say. And anyways, let's clear out these obelisks of... oh god.
Need more time.
Oh, the grenade's really good, man. What can I say? Grenade is really, really good. And there we go.
Well, that's creepy.
Very much so, yes. If I do have a criticism of the game outside of some of the things that I'm really not quite sure yet, so I don't want to speak too harshly on it, but if I do have to criticize something, it's the anti-aliasing. I don't know if you can really see it on YouTube. I imagine with OBS's encoding and with me editing the video later through Vegas, etc., it's gonna smooth things out a little bit. I'm gonna try and make it look nicer, but on my screen, the edges of the character and some of the textures are really looking rough and rugged and sort of jagged and sharp, unnaturally so, and it's okay for enemies that are moving sometimes. It sort of provides almost like an artificial outline for them, apart from, you know, on top of the actual outline that you have when you mouse over an enemy. So I don't mind it for the enemies as much, but for my own character, when I'm looking at his animations, it's like I can see little cubes of pixels falling down the floor when he's unloading the crossbow on the enemy, and I really don't like that. And I couldn't find any options for... Oh. There's gonna be a problem. Well, here's the boss fight. I'm glad I put that grenade in there. Okay, we almost lost the Iron Man character. Hardcore character, whatever you want to call it. Okay. Like I said, even at the very beginning, the game puts a lot of emphasis on you dodging the attacks that it hurls at you. Okay, he's almost dead. He's almost dead. There we go. And with that, I think...
Exiles never give up a fight. I expected no less.
we have demonstrated my awe-inspiring skills. Of course, I'm joking. Now, there is this as well, as far as items are concerned, which I find pretty unique and interesting. Orb of Augmentation. You can attune a magic item with a random new modifier, or you can upgrade with the Orb of Transmutation a normal item to a magic item with one modifier. That is pretty good. So it goes from white to blue, and I'm assuming these later down the line you get to upgrade from blue to, you know, whatever. Yellow, green, orange, etc., etc. The colors of rarity up and down the thing. I think that's pretty awesome, gonna be honest with you. Haven't really seen that in any of the games I've played recently, certainly, and yeah, I very much like that. Okay, high velocity rounds. Logic crossbow with piercing bolts that apply a riven armor to enemies with fully broken armor, causing any hits against enemies to deal extra damage. Incendiary shot. I want to do incendiary shot. I'm going to put incendiary shot right. Am I missing something? Ah, here it is. Right. Trying to figure out where it is. Let's put incendiary shot on. Is it a type of ammunition? It is.
Gotta stay quick on my feet.
It is, to all intents and purposes, a better version of the fragmentation round. Well, it's a different version of the fragmentation round. Interesting. Oh, there you go. Scroll to town again, so we can talk to those lovely people about what we just did.
Here are your spikes, but be cautious. They stayed warm after forging no matter how many times I quenched them. I would ask what you need these for, but I'm putting my trust in you.
Good. Good. Thank you. I'm gonna put that right there. And tell you what,
As in my runes,
What would you like?
Well,
you can take the rest.
I'll find some use for that.
Don't need the shield. Reckon I might need this. Oh yeah.
I make good scrap.
Definitely need that. Alright, good. Now, you can also buy
None of it's junk. Trust me.
random items off of this guy.
Famous, eh?
And from Una, you can buy Scrolls of Wisdom. I'm going to need, let's say, a couple more of those. Now, I could also use a ring, but these are rather expensive, and you know, this being the tutorial technically still, I don't really want to spend too much money on that right now. And we have a feathered robe. Okay, not for me, but I think that's definitely worth it, as it'll add value to it now that I've identified it, and I can probably sell it for a higher price.
Vile creature! Fire shot!
Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't dislike the fire shot, but I'm not overly in love with it either. It's not bad. It's not great either. Nah, I kind of like the machine gun a little bit more. Keep in mind this is all a crossbow. But there you go. That's part of the newbie experience as well, trying to figure out which which weapon or skill or whatever you like more. I'm pretty happy about that. Going through the discovery journey like so. But at any rate, I think this is going to be it for this video. I don't actually have that much to say, other than what I already did, more or less, which is some of the basic, shall we say, gameplay elements, along with a couple of annoying things that I found that I will look up a little bit more. But yeah, essentially, just wanted to share with you my first few hours of the game and how I'm experiencing it thus far. It's really fun. I can say I definitely understand the hype behind it, especially if you get into more of the meta stuff down the line with, you know, grinding for particular pieces of gear that you might need, or, you know, whatever. You may fancy weapons, armor, gems, etc., etc. There is also the first expansion for the game, which comes free, and you can choose your character at the beginning as a standard story that was available up until this point, or you can start from the expansion immediately. On top of that, there are a couple of classes yet to be added, and a couple of different character building options that are yet to be added, but the game is more or less done. I was told that update 0.4, the previous one, I don't know this from first hand because I got it at 0.5, the current one, but I was told that the previous update had a lot of bugs in it, crashes, etc., etc., people with PC issues, problems when playing this game. 0.5 seems to have removed most of that, if not all of it. As far as I'm concerned, going through the tutorial area, up until this point, I have not had a single bug, crash, or anything along those lines. it has been smooth sailing, though, like I say, it is just a tutorial area. It's probably the simplest part of the game, so, you know, more to follow, I suppose, but for now, everything is going swimmingly. And I would say that's more or less it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for watching the video. My name is Juggernaut. I will see you all next time. If you've been playing Path of Exile 2, let me know what you think. Has it met your expectations as a game in, you know, all aspects, both as a sequel to the original Path of Exile and as a general action RPG? And, yeah. I think, for now, that's about it. Have fun, take care, bye-bye.